Hey there, I'm Ellie. Now, I ain't much for beating around the bush, so I'll just dive right in. I'm 26, a web designer by trade, and up until the point this whole mess started, I was pretty much your run-of-the-mill kinda girl. Worked for a big company, had a small but tight circle of friends, and lived a life that didn't have too much excitement. That all changed at a party thrown by some mutual friends. It was one of those parties where you show up thinking you'll just stick to the walls, nurse a drink, and maybe, just maybe, have a decent conversation with someone. Little did I know, it was the night that was gonna turn my whole world upside down. The place was buzzing with people when I got there, and right away, I noticed him, Josh. The guy was like a magnet. Everyone seemed drawn to him, and he was soaking it up, especially the attention from the ladies. I ain't gonna lie, he was cute. Real cute. And he had this charm about him that made you want to get to know him better. But me? I figured I didn't stand a chance. I was more the jeans and t-shirt kinda girl, not one of those flashy types he seemed to be chatting up. I found myself a corner and was halfway through my drink when Josh sauntered over. Hey, I don't think we've met. I'm Josh, he said, all smooth-like. I choked on my drink. Ellie, I managed to get out, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. Real smooth, Ellie. He chuckled, that kind of laugh that's warm and infectious. So, Ellie, what brings you to this circus? Friends, I said, shrugging. You? Same. Though, I gotta say, it's not often I run into someone here who seems as out of place as I feel. That got a laugh out of me. You? Out of place? Could have fooled me. Josh grinned, leaning against the wall beside me. Well, appearances can be deceiving. So, what do you do when you're not being dragged to parties? I'm a web designer. Work for a big company downtown. That's cool. You any good? I smirked. I hold my own. Our chat rolled on from there, easy and comfortable. He asked about my family at some point, which threw me for a loop. Most guys I met at parties wanted to talk about anything but family. Why the interest in my family? I asked, eyebrow raised. He shrugged, looking a tad uncomfortable for the first time. Dunno. Guess I just find it interesting, knowing where people come from. Makes them more real, you know? I found myself opening up about my dad owning a large company, something I didn't usually lead with. Josh's interest seemed to spike again, but I brushed it off. Maybe he was just being polite. Before I knew it, the party was winding down, and Josh was asking for my number. I'd really like to see you again, Ellie. Maybe in a setting that's a bit less chaotic. I hesitated for a moment, not quite sure why. But then I handed over my number. Sure, why not? Josh had picked me out of all the girls at that party, and I was curious to see where this would go. After that party, things just snowballed. We were inseparable, and before I could even wrap my head around it, he popped the question. 6 months, that's all it took. My folks were over the moon, they took to him like bees to honey. The wedding? Picture perfect. I was floating, draped in white, feeling like the center of Josh's universe. Right after we said our I dos, Dad didn't waste any time getting Josh involved in the family business. Handed him a high-ranking position like it was nothing. Seeing Josh so eager to be a part of it all made me think we had it all figured out. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, right? Then came the dinner that threw me for a loop. We were all sat around my folks' dining table, me, Josh, our son, and my parents, when Dad dropped the news about expanding his business. He was looking at Josh when he said it, like he was passing him the baton in a relay race. Josh, I'm thinking of opening a new branch in the next town over. How'd you like to be the man to head it up? Josh's eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. Seriously, sir? I'd be honored. That's when the conversation took a turn I wasn't ready for. I was already in my head, planning out the move, thinking of apartments, parks where our son could play, and how we'd decorate a new home office for me. Oh, this is gonna be great. I'll start looking at places for us right away. Somewhere close to a good daycare for the little one. That's when Josh threw out his joke. He was all casual about it, like he was commenting on the weather or something. Actually, babe, maybe you should stay here while I set things up. It could take a while, and I know how you hate the hassle of moving. I stared at him, my fork halfway to my mouth, feeling like I'd just hit a speed bump at 60 miles an hour. What do you mean, stay here? Like, not come with you? Yeah, you know, just until I get everything sorted. It's gonna be a lot of late nights, early mornings. Might be easier for you and the kiddo. Easier? For who, exactly? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My folks were silent, probably sensing the tension thickening like gravy. Dad chimed in then, his voice all reason and calm. I think it's best if you all stick together. Ellie can work from anywhere, and it's important to keep the family unit intact, especially with a young child. Josh backed down pretty quick then, probably realizing he was outnumbered. All right, I was just joking. We'll all go together. But something about that joke didn't sit right with me. It was like he'd shown me a card he didn't mean to let slip. The rest of the dinner passed in a kind of blur. I was there, but not really. My mind was stuck on that joke and what it meant. Later, as we were getting ready for bed, I brought it up again. Josh, what was that all about earlier? You really think it's a good idea to start splitting up whenever things get busy? He was brushing his teeth, and he looked at me in the mirror, his eyes meeting mine. Ellie, come on. I told you, it was just a thought. Nothing serious. We're in this together, you know that. I wanted to believe him, I really did. But there was this nagging feeling in the pit of my stomach, like a warning. I pushed it aside, though, telling myself I was overreacting. Josh loved us, and he wouldn't do anything to jeopardize our family. Or so I thought. Josh had to head out for his big business trip a few days after that dinner conversation. We were all set to join him. I even started packing, imagining our new life in a different city. But then, as if fate decided to throw us a curveball, our little one got sick. Nothing too scary at first, just enough for the doc to say traveling was off the table for a while. I remember breaking the news to Josh over the phone. He was already in the other city, and the look on his face, or the lack of it, really, since it was just a call, made me pause. It was almost like he was relieved, happy even, to have the city to himself. That stung, not gonna lie. Weeks turned into more weeks, and our son's little illness turned out to be a bigger deal than we thought. That meant our plans to join Josh were scrapped indefinitely. During this time, Josh's calls became more of a rarity, each one filled with the same old "I'm fine, I miss you guys," but somehow, it felt hollow. One night, after putting the little one to bed, I finally got Josh on a call. Hey, you, I started, trying to keep the worry out of my voice. We miss you around here. How's everything going? There was a pause, a bit too long for comfort, before Josh replied, Oh, hey, babe. Yeah, everything's busy, you know? This new branch is eating up all my time. I frowned, pacing the living room. I get that. But you know, a quick call wouldn't kill you. The kiddo keeps asking about you. Another pause, then, I know, I'm sorry. It's a lot right now. That hit me wrong. A lot right now? Josh, we're supposed to be doing this together. You're not on some solo adventure. We're a family. Josh's voice got a bit defensive. I didn't say I was doing this alone. Just that it's hectic. I thought we agreed you'd stay put till things settled down here. Let's not do this over the phone, okay? We'll talk when I come home. The call ended on an awkward note, leaving a sour taste in my mouth. The silence of the house seemed to press in on me, heavy with unsaid words and growing doubts. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was slipping through my fingers, something important. He made it back home once during this whole saga, and it was like having a ghost in the house. He was there, but not really. Glued to his phone, barely there even when he was sitting right in front of us. What's so important on there? I asked him one night, trying to keep the frustration out of my voice. Just work stuff, he muttered.